Ladies and gentlemen.
Eric Hamlin, and tonight we have a special guest, and I'm very excited to be back here in Shelbyville at Rupert's Kids Arcade, which is an awesome place. It's very quiet tonight.
Yes.
We have all the stuff shut off because we wanted to make sure you guys could hear us, and we got some cool things we're going to talk about with Mr. Rupert Boneham. Everybody knows him from Survivor, all these things, but Survivor is a small part of you now. Because Rupert's Kids is such a large part, and well-deserving it should be.
Yes, it is.
It's really cool. I also have, one more. I have John and Nikki Glass.
Yeah.
These guys, there you go. These guys are the ones that helped put the ride together for Rupert's Ride. We're going to be talking about that, and I'm very excited. So let's get to the show. Okay. I love music at the beginning of a show, so I have to do that. Okay, Mr. Rupert. I want to say Rupert. I don't know why. How have you been, my friend?
I'm good. Okay, I'm good. I didn't want to tell everybody, but my wife put it out there that I was battling cancer last year and had, the vocal cord cancer, and it's still not totally gone, but it's doing much better, and I can still talk.
Amen.
Last year, I had one doctor who wanted to cut my vocal cords out. No.
Yeah.
We found another one that did way better. But that's, the health side of me. I went out on Survivor, I played, I beat the heck out of my body. I'm going to be here for a lot longer.
I honestly, I've heard things, and I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to ask you on the show because I didn't know what you were sharing with people. But I'm so glad to hear that.
When I found a doctor that could cut, that did the surgeries with a laser.
Yeah.
The guys with the scalpel did great, but with the laser they could cut at a cellular level.
Yeah.
And they told me, if we've got to go in 10 more times, you'll still be able to talk.
Wow.
There you go. So, so
that's a fight. That's when you're like, well, yeah, let's do it.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I had that time last year where I thought about how I could live my life without talking. I am a little bit of a talker.
You literally couldn't even go, oh my gosh, without making noise.
I am so much happier
Praise the
that, that this didn't happen 20 years ago. It would have killed me 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank goodness. I'm sure everybody's very happy to hear that. I'm sure hey, Lindsay, I just happened to look like Hi, Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm keeping his attention on me.
Yeah. He's a very attractive man. He's a very attractive man.
I don't know.
Well, that's really good. I didn't want to get into that subject because I wasn't sure, but I'm glad you brought it up because I was wondering, but I was going to keep my nose in my own place, and not ask questions. But
I got mad at my wife last year when she put it out online, but she was scared too.
Yeah.
And she wanted some support.
Yeah.
And it's been okay. I'm not thrilled, that everybody knows all my business, but it's okay. I signed up to go on a TV show.
That's probably what she's thinking.
Showed the
world.
Your
ass will go on a TV show and talk about stealing people. We're better than
but so nobody likes to talk about cancer. But a lot of us got to deal with it.
Well, that's just
I got to play a survivor on TV. Now I am a real cancer survivor.
So there's a T-shirt idea. Well, that's cool. Not only are you a player of Survivor, but your wife,
right?
And I will say this, and honey, that thing about safety, cover your ears. Your wife is beautiful.
I know. I was lucky way before Survivor.
Yeah, you married up.
Way before.
But no, but when I first seen her, because I'd seen her in the guests, when the guests were there during the end of the show and all that, and I thought, well, she's so pretty.
How did I get that? I know.
No, I knew how. Because you were my favorite character. You're my favorite player. So for me, I understand because you're cool, man. That's why I got my awesome life because I'm cool and the looks help, but not more.
It's inside.
Yeah. But no, she's even more beautiful once you see her and her personality and seeing how you guys care about each other, especially on the show, was like,
you know,
it was
when
really
I
cool.
took my wife with me on Survivor, CBS called me before that ever took place and said, we want to talk to some of your family members. We're going to bring a loved one with you. I know Survivor. I gave them my brother, my cousin, my aunt, my uncle, my nephew. I gave them everybody's phone number in the world.
Yeah.
They called them up, even talked to my brother, who is almost my exact opposite.
Yeah.
But, you know, they talked to me. They said, we really want your wife.
Yeah.
Laura always said, I don't want to play Survivor. I watched how you came home. It about killed you. I had skin infections all over, broken bones, all kinds of stuff. I said, Laura really doesn't want to play the game, but if you want to call her, you guys got her phone number. Within 2 minutes, her phone was ringing.
Yeah.
Within another couple minutes, I hear Laura say, you mean if I say no, Rupert can't play?
Oh, wow.
I was so sad that they were manipulating my wife into going out on the game.
Oh, wow.
So we talk about it before we ever get out there, and I tell her, you can put Survivor above me.
Yeah.
Stay in the game, play the game.
Yeah.
They're going to go after me. You can be on that side, it's okay.
Yeah, they want that TV.
I will side always with you. You side with the tribe. I didn't think in the first day, in the first 5 minutes, it would be my choice, not hers.
That's
And when they try and vote Laura out of the game, Jeff looks at me and says, you're not smiling anymore, Rupert. You're not happy? I'm like, no, I'm not happy. Wow. Then trade places. Being able to give my wife that ability to go back into the game when your loved one looks at you with that look of, what the heck did you get me into? What's going on? Help me. And you have the ability to help. Oh my gosh, I was so lucky.
Yeah.
We came back from Survivor, a stronger relationship, tougher, better.
Yeah.
Laura went back to work, went back to school in her 40s. I'm not telling her she did. Yeah, she was in her 40s then. And
Well, you just told them.
There was a good old Survivor. Truth comes out on the dance for Mrs. Gravy.
Now, let's re-edit that part.
she went out and got another degree, got a nursing degree, and started. She's a nurse now.
My wife's a nurse. That's cool.
Empowerment, being able to help others, being able to, you know.
Yeah. But I can see how playing that game would give, even if you don't win,
Right.
it would give you such a confidence boost in
Oh,
yourself and
yes.
your abilities that going to school would seem trivial. Like, I can do that. That's
right.
no big deal.
Right. I just conquered, you know, Survivor.
And there's still people, and I maybe have fallen guilty to this a couple times in my life, that will watch a show like that and go, you know it's all rigged. You know it's all. They're over there
Well,
eating
you know, when
cheeseburgers.
they shut the cameras off, they feed us.
No, they don't.
The cameras never shut off.
Yeah.
Never. They make sure there's 2, 3, 4 camera crews around. So if you two go walking off, there's a camera following you. You go walking off by yourself, there's a camera following you.
Yeah.
There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, that one person, I can't remember who it was. They said there is probably 3 hours of film of me using the restroom.
Oh,
He said because
easily.
what if a snake
everywhere.
bit you? They want that on camera, so they film everything.
They are out there
Yeah.
always.
And even if you don't see them, they're there.
They're there.
Yeah, yeah. I've always thought.
We would leave our camp and go do stuff and come back and realize there's microphones hidden around, there's little cameras, there's stuff around. Maybe they can bug the woods, the jungle. You know, they hear everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a good friend, my wife's friend Tracy. They've been best friends since elementary school. I may have mentioned this last time we talked. She's always said she wouldn't go on Survivor, but see, her problem is that she's such a control freak. She'd be out the first day. I'm telling you, I'm like, first off, you'd want to drive because she wants to drive all the time. She's always in control. You're a control freak, Tracy. And I'm like, you'd be out the first day. They would not. Oh no, I know how to do it. No, you can't.
It is so hard when you get out there to keep control of your emotions. My best thing that I did for myself is watch me play the first one on TV,
Oh, I bet.
calling it my island, my sphere, my game, my adventure, and you're screwing my game up.
That's why I liked you though.
It wasn't just my game, it was our game.
Yeah.
And being able to go back out there the second time on All Stars and call it our game. It's our game against all of them.
Yeah.
And then I go to it's our game against all of them.
Yeah.
And it was our game. Being able to bond people better together.
social.
I made it, instead of 27 days, I made it 37 days.
Yeah.
2 days away from winning that.
Let me ask that. You both throw out a good point for me. So have you? I'm sure you watched the last couple seasons.
Oh gosh, I watch every season.
And then we'll call them post-pandemic seasons because
Yes.
everything was changed up. You guys had to do 39 days. Now they're doing what? 24?
26, I think.
26,
Yeah.
24?
24, 26.
Is that? Are you watching this going?
Well,
You bunch of sissies! You only got
No.
to cook 24 days.
on the first show, on season 7, Pearl Islands, I didn't even go to tribal council until day 21.
Holy crap!
I won everything
That's right.
I didn't even go until
Yeah.
day 21.
You were on that winning tribe, yeah.
And then when the idiots threw the challenge and the guys pirated me over to the other tribe, I bonded them together and we whooped our tribe.
Yeah.
Watching them call these the toughest survivor ever.
Thank you. That's what I was
Watching
getting
them call these the monster is hungry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Jeff. The monster isn't out on Fiji.
Yeah.
The monster was in Pearl Islands
Yeah.
with, I've seen 2 days of rain in the 20 days they've been there so far.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
We had 2 days of nice weather.
Yeah.
Rained so hard it drove our camera crew away that was fired the next day because they left us in the jungle
Wow.
unsupported.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's a secret
There's
that
a
I'm not
secret.
supposed to tell.
Lawyers are fighting up that NDA contract, making sure.
But watching them call this the hardest season ever. But if you look at Jeff, that's his job.
Yeah.
Every season is the hardest season ever.
Well,
Go back and look at the
yeah.
old ones. The guys that go out that look like us when they go out,
Yeah.
after 10 or 20 days,
yeah, they look like my camera.
they look like that stick.
Look at Jonathan this year. That dude's looked like a hawk, and now
He's getting smaller.
But
Oh.
and then I will say the fact that they don't have rice, like
Did
that's
we have rice and beans? No.
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 I was trying to
we
help.
were always told, if you're hungry, go catch food.
Yeah.
There's
Listen,
plenty of food out there.
part of me is agreeing with you 100%. The other
Right.
part of me wants to be Jeff Probst's stand-in. And I think I look the part, Jeff. The tribe has spoken, John. Get out. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Man,
But
I need to go eat.
no,
Okay.
the last two, this season and the season before, I kept hearing that, and I was like, I
Yes.
want to ask her what he thinks about that because
Well-
it doesn't seem that hard.
I'm sorry, but the last endurance challenge we just were forced to watch that lasted a whole 12 minutes. 12 minutes. I'm sorry, they put us in situations in Blood of Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah.
Where I had to set my own broken
I remember that,
bones,
yeah.
where I had fractures and break in my
Yeah.
foot and toes. They stood us on pedestals, on little, skinny little
Yeah.
2x4s where you got an inch and a half to set the
Yeah.
balls of your feet. And they put your hand over your head with a little band on there. There might only be a pound or two,
Yeah.
but if you move at all, the bucket falls.
Yeah.
2 hours and 30 minutes. They walked a tray of burgers under my nose. It was just Poverty and I cussed them out and yelled and screamed and I told them to go away.
Yeah.
6 minutes later, I'm still mad at them. My arm never dropped, but it moved just enough for the bucket to drop.
Yeah.
I would have stayed there for 10 hours.
Ah.
It didn't matter. On that pedestal with my broken bones that they wouldn't let me even wear my shoes, thinking there's no way he'll last more than 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
12 minutes is pitiful. 4, you should do a hell of a lot better.
Oh, that's hilarious.
12 minutes, and you just have to hold your arms like this, and
Yeah.
you can go up and down and play around.
I see. I have a thing because the only they gave everybody.
Not that I have any.
No, I know. But they gave everybody the opportunity to. You don't even have to do this challenge if you don't want it for whatever reason. The only two people did the very athletic, two that are both very attractive, That is a supermodel pose. I'm like, that's an audition for swimsuit models.
They
What the hell?
should have been able to hold that for hours.
Yeah. Well, he looked whooped. He's probably more of a stretchy band workouter.
Well, when you go back and look at some of the endurance challenges of Pearl Islands and All-Stars, when I went up against Austin, whose arms were the size of my legs, and I whooped him every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Muscle ain't heart.
Pretty boy gym muscles do not stand up to working man muscles.
Yeah, that's right.
This Survivor that I wish I was out there playing, they dangled 40 and 41 in front of me, both, and then they gave me Amazing Race, but they liked me on that too. That's a whole other story.
I don't think I'm getting this Jeff Pro Stanley job because I'm revealing way too much. Shit.
But watching
I was going to wear my Survivor.
Oh, you should have worn your new Safari.
I almost did.
Oh,
I almost did. It's powder blue too.
Yeah,
so yeah. But I thought no.
Damn. Being out on Survivor is tough, and this season is tough.
Yeah.
But it's sure not the hardest. It's sure not the hardest.
They're definitely all tough compared to most people's daily life.
Sitting on the couch and going to work and doing what I tell people.
It's a lot tougher than it is for me to watch it. Because I'm eating chips and vegetables sometimes.
If you want a good example of what it's like, wake up tomorrow morning, don't eat anything, don't drink anything, go to work. Work all day, don't ever sit down. Run everywhere you want to run. Don't eat lunch, don't eat dinner, go home, don't drink anything, maybe suck the dew off a leaf. Go to bed. Wake up in the morning the next day, see how happy and friendly you are. Talk to your honey, talk to your, whoever, go to work. Yeah. You're starting to get in that mind state of where we were in every day. You would get so dehydrated that you could pinch the skin on the back of your hand. It didn't bounce back. Yeah. It stayed standing up.
Yeah, I haven't been that dehydrated before, but that was because too much alcohol. But anyway. It's the same thing.
Okay.
I got my one question. Boston Rob posted that there's going to be an episode 45 where all the old ones are going back. True or not?
I don't really think that Boston Rob has that good of inside line. They talked about season 40 being the returnees and all. And, if you look, and I am one of those guys, one of those old Survivor fanatics. Mm-hmm. I would like to see Survivor go back to the old way. 8 strangers, drop them on an island, no food, no lights, no motor cars, not a single luxury. A lot of people are getting tired of watching the same old players. I would love to play. I'd play again in a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Did they
they're going to keep bringing them back.
I don't either. Did they do one season where they had like 2 old players that were like coaches?
Mm-hmm. They've done different stuff like that. They had, fans versus favorites.
I think they had advisors or something.
Right,
too,
they had four of the advisors,
Yeah. So they're trying everything. It's a show that's been on for,
21 years.
They're going to go through the litany of ideas and what they said 15 years ago in their meetings when they were coming up with storyboards. They're like, this is stupid. It'll never work, John. Now they're like, we better do John's idea. We got shit. Yeah.
Do we really have to bring up how long I've been watching that?
Well,
it's
twice a year. Remember that, though. It just seems longer.
It's funny to go back and watch season 1 or 2 or 3. My gosh. Season 1, Rudy Bosch, toughest old man I've ever met in my life. He was a wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. Went back at 78 to play the darn game.
Crazy.
But that first season, where tribal council is just a madhouse and there's no real,
They're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
It is so funny to watch those old shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan of the show, but I'm more a fan of the players. And you're, like I said, you're one of my favorites of all time. And I even like Boston Rob a little bit. Poverty, a little. It's weird. Like people, I don't think I would get along in my daily life with.
Right.
Which I try to get along with pretty much everybody. But it's like on there, it's like, oh yeah, we'd be friends. I think me and him would be on the right. I'd be wanting to chop trees down around the other people's, so they couldn't go anywhere. Poison the well and shit. I'd be bad. So, yeah, I probably shouldn't play. But, so Rupert's Ride is just a fun way to raise money for your foundation, Rupert's Kids.
Well, it's raising money, honestly, to help every one of us in the community.
Yeah.
We're already spending our tax dollars putting people in prisons, putting people in group homes, putting people on trackers, putting people, in the system.
Yeah.
It's our tax dollars. $1.5 trillion tax dollars a year for our detention centers and our court system and our system.
Yeah.
Here in Shelbyville, $40,000 to $50,000 a year to lock someone up. Marion County, a little bigger community, $75,000 to $80,000, and it's one of our largest mental health facilities in the state now. It gives very little mental health service.
Yeah.
We spent the last couple of years really talking about some true justice reform, true detention reform, seeing that militarizing our police is not the way. Trying to beat us into submission is not the way. We also cannot beat the system into submission.
Yeah.
It's not the way. Working together. What we have set up here in Shelbyville with our 12-bed facility that got no city, state, federal funding, no tax dollars were spent creating it. Very few communities can say that.
Yeah.
And it still has no tax dollars being spent on it.
It's crazy. I mean,
we can set our participants up. Now it is just men because we cannot put men and women under the same roof. It's 15 years ago we tried that with a wall between them, and they remains of that they walked around the wall. Imagine that. If we would really start looking at how true detention reform helps us all. One of the programs we've got going right now with the community corrections here in Shelbyville is the nonviolent offenders, the drug and alcohol offenders, the probation, parole, home detention violators. Instead of just throwing them back in jail and making them serve sentence, serve time for a misstep, they're putting them, they're diverting them into our house. They put them in it's like a 90-90 program, 90 to 180 days in a secure facility, 90 to 100 days in a not so secure facility like ours.
yeah.
The guys can come and go. Nobody's locked in ever. We lock people out so the public can't come in, but everybody can always get out.
Yeah.
We've set up a 6 to 9 month stay at our place that Community Corrections is agreeing with, that for these low-level offenders, these nonviolent offenders, a lot of the offenders that end up being the career criminals start out like this. That's why we're trying to get them out of the system now.
Yeah.
They serve that 6 to 9 months in our house. They make it through all their levels, their 6 levels. They show that they can be clean and sober from drugs. We test every few days. They show that they want to take care of themselves and get a job. After 3 months, we kind of push you into, getting a job because that 6 to 9 months is coming. You want to show the courts, you can work and you can save money. We've already had a couple of these guys go through this whole thing and graduate. Now they are on their 1 year of suspension.
Wow.
Where if they can go for a year with no charges, all old charges are dropped. You've shown, 2 years of taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You're off and on your own. A lot of us, I don't know, I'm getting close to 60 years old. The guys back in my day, I'm dumping your shit out and I'm taking yourself home. I don't want to see you out again tonight.
Yeah.
I had many times, not many, but a few in my past where I wasn't taken to jail, I was taken home. And if I would have been an idiot and went back out, I probably would have went to jail. But it was a kinder, more reality-based world.
Yeah. Well, they also wanted your parents to know what you were doing and to deal with it. Instead of going, these parents, they don't know what they're doing.
Oh, I have to say one of those was even after I was, legal age, and they didn't take me back to my parents' house. They dropped me off at my apartment. Really.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
Yeah, it was.
My dad's generation, they would drive them home and make sure they were taken care of.
Yeah.
Serve and protect doesn't mean beat you and when you make a misstep, drag you in and lock you up and take your livelihood away, take your transportation away, take your,
Yeah, and it really is the system because a lot of those cops, they don't want to be doing that.
No.
A lot of those people are their neighbors and their family, and they don't want to see them go through that. But they're tied by these stiff rules and silly
the zero
laws.
tolerance,
Yeah.
the 3 strikes and you're out, the attitude of lock them all up and let
I remember someone told me, I'm sorry, Andrew, but someone told me just the other day, they said, well, some people will never learn. And I said, you're talking about 18-year-old and 20-year-olds. They're not supposed to be done learning.
No.
I didn't stop learning yesterday. I mean, my dad used to say it for you. I don't know who said it. I'm sure it was a very wise person. If you don't learn something new every day, you're wasting your time. We never stop learning.
Right.
So how can a 19-year-old, how can you look at them and go, well, he's never going to learn his lesson? No, duh. We know, none of us do. It takes time. You have to go through things to understand what the consequences of those things are, because how many sheltered children do you see nowadays that my son, let's put it this way, and I'll be fully admit that we were a little too sheltering our children. My son talked to someone who'd been to prison once before when he was, now he's 24, just turned 24. This is back when he might have been 13.
Mm-hmm.
This young man mentioned that he'd been to prison, and my son was like shocked. You've been to prison? He goes, well, yeah, unfortunately. He goes, my boy looks at him dead in the face, straight as could be, and says, what did you do, like spray paint on something? I'm like, we had arguments. If you do graffiti, you're going to prison.
Yeah.
So, okay, we were a little sheltering, but I didn't want to screw up. You know what I mean? So, but it's like kids are going to make mistakes, but you can't condemn an adult for a child's mistake, and you can't condemn a child's mistake for an adult offense.
We talk about the brain still developing until you're 25, 26 years old.
Yeah. My wife would say 45.
There's still a lot of knowledge that these young men and women think they have, but do not. Being able to show that, a true detention reform, a true justice reform doesn't mean I'm trying to, put everybody in jail. I'm trying to protect everybody from everything. It's not how this society really works. Yeah. It means that when one of us out there, every one of us have made a bad choice in our life. When one of us make a bad choice and we get caught, because a lot of us have never been caught, you're not just destroyed. You are given some compassion and a path to rehabilitation, to restoring your place, not destroying your place.
Yeah.
If we really want to believe that detention reform and justice reform is going to happen, we have to start creating those programs that are doing it.
Yeah.
The system believes that it has to keep growing We know if it keeps growing, we go bankrupt. We need to knock the system down some.
They keep feeding the beast.
Instead of having 911 go to officers with guns, have 911 go to social workers that can decide within minutes, seconds, who should be dispatched out first.
Yeah.
People with guns and that can kill you, or people with knowledge and maybe a taser that, you know, if they are attacked, they can protect themselves, but are willing to put themselves in harm's way to protect others. There's a lot of different ways.
And you know, a lot of people, and I don't mean to pick your brain about what you believe in sociologically or anything like that, but a lot of people hear things like that and will say, well, I back the blue. I think they're doing
I do too.
100%. Everybody knows me. I'm friends with every cop I know.
Right.
I appreciate and respect and love every one of them for what they do. All the good ones. The bad ones, not so much. But
there's bad in every job, in every
exactly.
Way. I know bad arcade owners.
That's ridiculous.
I know you wouldn't believe it, but they're there.
I know. But my point is like, just saying that, a lot of people shut it off right then because they feel like you're talking bad about the police, where it's not really about that. It's finding a way for the police to be able to do their job even more efficient,
right,
without putting them in A, harm's risk, without being ready for it, or B, making them suffer from these PTSD. I don't know how a cop couldn't have it. They see horrific things. But having to deal and make split-second decisions that not always, let's be honest, they're not always right.
Of course.
So, and any cop that I know would agree with that. Like, yeah, we're put in situations that we don't even know what's happening until it's over. And then we've made a bad decision sometimes. So, that's not a bad thing to say, to get social or therapists or anything involved in the system. It can't be the system. You have to have every asset available.
Right.
Instead of just being, no, put it in jail.
A piece of the system. There's many pieces in our pie. Yep. There's a lot of big, hairy, scary guys that would be more than willing, that have degrees, social work, that have the ability to go out and go into situations that are not going to carry guns, that are not going to carry life-ending weapons, but are willing to put themselves in situations where people are getting hurt.
It's a little hairy, yeah.
You know, and I tell my cop buddies all the time, I would never want to walk up on some of these cars. You never know. Yeah. Explaining to my guys why you don't want the smoky windows, you know, where you want that cop to feel comfortable. I want everybody around us to feel comfortable. That's really why we started the arcade. To give our clients, our participants, that last little training of social skills.
That's cool.
And then with that, we realized, let's create a place where you can have birthday parties, Christmas parties, gatherings that anyone can afford.
Yeah.
$50 an hour, and you can bring 25 kids in.
Or, and I'm just spitballing here, $50 an hour, and you can bring 25 40-year-old kids for your office party.
Yes.
And I guarantee they are going to love it.
Yes.
Just saying. But
yes.
No,
you can come in when we're closed and have a party for $75 for an hour.
Yeah,
that is unheard of. There are people that drive from Indianapolis to come out here.
I bet, yeah.
I love having the arcade, and I love being able to give that to the community, but it is just a byproduct of what we have created with the mentoring program. Really, people think that our mentoring program hurts the city or hurts people or hurts. It helps. It creates empowerment programs for not only the person going through it, but the people helping them too.
I don't remember who said it, or if I'm even saying it right, but they said that one, let's see, how's it? Now I'm going to mess it up. One changed individual will change 100 individuals. So, yeah, as far as the community is, I mean, which would you rather have? Would you rather have a guy who just got out of prison because he was good enough to get out, or his sentence was over and he's pissed off at the world, and it cost him a ton of money, so he's broke? Or would you rather walk past a guy on the street who's had a second chance, a third chance, that feels blessed being able to walk out on the street? You're going to have a lot less trouble with that guy than the other guy, the aforementioned. So I know exactly what you mean about it. It does impact society as a whole, and I wish that other areas, like, I wish Franklin would get something like this going. I worked at the Johnson County Sheriff's Work Release place as a jailer, if you will. We didn't call ourselves that. We called ourselves some more shit. But I worked there, and I almost went back to school and got my counseling license because I felt so good about talking to people about things like my experiences and how I changed and the decisions that I made that were bad, but yet the decisions I made that were good, that helped me be where I'm at instead of being where you're at. And for some people that had no good upbringing, just to find out that you tell them, like, well, I never was arrested because I knew if I got arrested, my dad would leave me in there, and when I got home, he would have killed me. They're like, they didn't have that. They didn't have that father in the house to say, your ass can't get in trouble. I won't allow it. That safety net, as far, they don't have that. You should come to the arcade the morning of, or any time that you might be able to get a hold of Rupert, because this man loves to talk about this, and I'm glad to do, because I think it's an amazing thing. I want to challenge somebody right now. If you guys have a church or a club, I have an ATV club. I'm going to talk to my guys about it, guys and gals. We have, but about getting together and seeing if we can't become one. I'll pledge right now. Give me 9 more people. We'll each do $10 a month.
There you go.
And boom, we got it done. I'll put my $10 on the table right now.
And what we said is, after we get these 100 groups, these 100 people, we're going to have one heck of a party.
Yeah.
You're going to see me bring out some stuff. I've got old Survivor stuff, old things, you know.
There you go.
Do you have an immunity item?
I do. I've never played the game with immunity idols. That is the...
Don't go home with an idol.
Right. But I have other stuff that I stole from Survivor. I have the only Saboga map. I have different cool stuff.
That's cool.
That's the kind of stuff that I want to share with my 100 Angel donors, my 100 Angel group. That group, just like PK USA is a giant factory here in town.
Yeah.
But when we have it, they're going to pick 5-6 people. Yeah. This year they go. Next year they go. In the warehouse, the reentry program that we've created, the 12-bed facility that we've created, that we are still showing way less money spent on somebody than in the system.
Oh, yeah.
But what we've been able to do is hook our participants up with a Recovery Works program. In Indiana, one of the things that Indiana does do for any felon is they set an $8,000 bank account off to the side. Don't tell you about it. That's to help you restore your residence, restore your transportation, restore your life. Because Indiana knows when we put you in jail, it destroys you.
Yeah. It's a weird problem to have. When it's harder to live, so you don't want to give away as much, but it's harder on the charities to survive, and still nobody wants to give away very much. So it's like you got to get it somehow. And you guys are working. And that's what I like to... Listen, I love to donate to all kinds of charities. The many as we can. We are not highfalutin. We do not have a ton of money.
My family picks the animals, the elderly, and the kids.
There you go. There you go. But, you know, the fact is there's some charities out there who expect you to donate. And I'll say some of them have a ribbon.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, got a box, put money in it. And that's all they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a walk. And that's fine. However they get their money is however they get their money. But you guys aren't asking for that.
No.
You guys are getting out, I mean, you're asking for it, but you guys are actually getting out there and working to raise your money on top of asking for it, which is totally different.
You
And
know,
he works with them.
I know.
He works.
We opened our doors of the 12-bed facility January of 2020. February of 2020, we were darn near full. We had spent $150,000 creating it. We had no darn money to run it. I had $80,000 in appearances just on my own, signing my name. They paid me for that silliness. By February, we were almost full. March 9th, I said to my guys, we're not going to be able to do this anymore. We're going to shut us down. By the 16th, everything was shut down. That $80,000 in appearances, gone. Every fundraiser we had for the year of 2020, eliminated. Panic.
One thing
How
for
we
we didn't
2020, they did it. That was the first ride.
Yep.
Yep.
That was the first
And we were
ride.
right middle COVID.
Darn right. Thank God.
We socially
Literally.
distanced.
You can get away from COVID on a bike.
On a bike you can. You can outrun it.
80 mile an hour, it's not
That's
gonna catch you. Not gonna catch you.
We had to really dig. Donations pretty much stopped. Fundraising stopped.
Yeah.
Charity, the giving, it all stopped.
Yeah.
The only way that we were able to make it, now we're in, what is this, May of 2022, a year and a half later, and we're fine,
Yeah.
is because even when everyone else stops helping, if you can take care of yourself,
That's right.
like I show our men and women in our program, if you can really rely on yourself and give yourself that strength when you really need it. We looked at what we had. We sold one property. I didn't want to sell anything. We sold one property and we went out and hustled jobs outside of houses. No more construction inside. That all stopped. And we made it through, not missing one paycheck, not denying one person, not having to let money be a determining factor. Money is just a tool.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a wonderful tool, and we need, like I say, $250,000 a year we generate and spend. Minimum. That was without the warehouse, the reentry program. Now, it's even more important.
Yeah.
That's why we're looking for that 100 angel donors, really. And I tell you what, with anybody out there, because these are not just Indiana people, this is across the country.
Yeah.
If we could get just more people willing to do that, I would be willing to break that up. We'll make them all, we'll create them across the country.
Yeah.
Like Nikki says, this is not, half the time I don't even pay myself. This is not for us to get rich, this is us to change.
Yeah.
Really. I said years ago, someday this world is going to know who I am and know that I'm good. And my kids in my program say, you're crazy, you work with us in Indianapolis, you go to juvie, you go to jail, you go with... Nobody's ever going to know you. That was my life goal, to let this world see who I am and that I'm okay. Being able to teach us. The one person you always have to be able to rely on is you. So many of our guys that come to us, men and women, that don't have that in them, that you build that up, you see that in them, you see that growing, you give that back to them. Oh my God, it is the most empowering thing in the world. For people across the country, I'm saying, you want a real, fulfilling career? Give to others.
Oh, yeah.
When we stop selling our stuff, we don't sell anything at all. We give it away. If you want to give donations, great. We make more money now giving our stuff away than we did ever selling it.
I believe it. Yeah.
There is still a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of us that are givers. Hopefully we will soon outnumber the takers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end it than that. I mean, that's just
Words of wisdom from Rupert.
Texas and
We are doing Texas and Tennies in November 19th. It's going to be our 18th annual.
Wow.
In July, we've got our Survivor 5K Dash, the Survival Dash, that you can come out. It's not a timed event, don't worry.
You see the look on his face.
And
It's gonna be like, I am the 5K.
And
You had me until 5K.
for one of the miles, you can even get in the creek and let the creek just carry you along.
Oh, there we go.
Now, last year it was raging. It rained 2 inches before, the day before. I stepped foot in there and my feet were gone. We didn't let anybody in because they would have died.
Yeah.
But,
Die given.
but in the 5K run too, we've got hidden immunity idols that you can find in the run for great prizes and treasures at
That's
the end
cool.
of the run.
That's cool.
Yeah. So really, check out, keep an eye on Rupert.
For me, it'd be a 5K jog.
It could be
Well,
walk.
Okay, well.
Let's be honest. It'd be a 1K jog. It'd be a 1K walk. It'd be a 1K crawl. And then the ambulance will give me the last 2K though. I mean, let's be honest. And it's not that I'm fat. I just have bad legs because I'm fat. So
It's a good time. We have a great time.
luckily, I know a ton of healthy people that are energetic and would love to do something like that. And I may just show up and cheer them along. I can do that too.
We'll be talking about it on the bike ride. So come on up to the ride.
It'll be fun.
Play around, get some pictures, eat some
Come to
food.
the arcade, play the game.
See if you can beat me in Pac-Man or Space Invaders or,
I beat you in the boat racing game.
Oh, I know you did.
Beat all of them. Anyway,
That one's going to go from episode to episode.
June 11th is the ride, guys. He has tons of other things going on. Make sure you look them all up, and please, someone contact me. Let's become angel givers.
Yes.
I
don't know what number you'd be, but we're not.
Ain't
I was
nothing
thinking by now we'd be up to 10 or 20s. I think we're 3 or 4. But that's okay. If I gotta be 5 and 6, I'll do that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally into doing it. I mean, like I said, I can't afford.
Thank you.
I can't afford $100 a month. I'm not.
You're 1/10.
I can afford 10.
You're a 10.
Who cares?
There you go.
9 others. Let's make him whole.
I just want to go do something. Let's go do something.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're gonna vote him out now. I'm so excited.
That's it. You're
Come on
done.
in, Jeff. Let's get the fire going.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys.
Travis spoke.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching the
That's
show and all
good.
your support. Really do appreciate it. Please, please, please go at the bottom here and share this episode with as many people as you can. Throw it on your regular page, or if you have a business page, throw it on there. Let other people see what I'm doing here, and if there's something going on in your life or your events or something like that you want me to be a part of, so we can try to get the word out as much as possible. Please let me know, and I will see if we can't come out. So once more, I want to say a big thank you to John and Nikki Glass for all they do. Just wonderful people, and their hearts are in the right place, and they do a lot, and we do appreciate them. Not just this ride, but other rides too. So they're wonderful, and we really appreciate them. And of course, Mr. Rupert Boneham, everybody from Survivor. But pretty soon, people aren't going to say that anymore. They're just going to say Rupert from Rupert's Kids. That's all they're going to say, because that's what's really important.
I say we all do it together to end it, since we can't play the game. 1, 2, 3.